In the early morning, there were repeated bombings. Swarms of fighter jets were seen coming and going. In the midst of this, major news emerged. The United States acknowledged the bombings in Venezuela, and at the same time, they announced that the country's president, Nicolás Maduro, had been captured. It was claimed by the U.S. that Maduro had already been flown out of Venezuela. The vice president of Venezuela was unable to say where the president was. The vice president, Delcy Rodriguez, asked the U.S. to provide evidence that Maduro and his wife, Celia Flores, were alive. The news of the bombings in Venezuela created a stir all around. There was intense debate regarding the role of the U.S. in the attack. In this atmosphere, U.S. President Donald Trump made a significant declaration. He stated that President Maduro had been captured and taken away. Trump wrote on social media, "The U.S. has carried out a huge, successful operation in Venezuela. The country's leader, President Nicolás Maduro, and his wife have been captured and taken outside the country. This operation was completed with the assistance of the U.S. Department of Justice. Detailed information will be provided. A press conference will be held at Mar-a-Lago." U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio stated that Maduro would be tried in the U.S. Immediately after that, the vice president of Venezuela, Rodrigo, spoke up. He mentioned that they could not find Maduro. There was no news about the First Lady, Celia, either. He also stated that U.S. attacks had resulted in the deaths of officials, military personnel, and ordinary citizens. Meanwhile, he demanded evidence from the U.S. that Maduro was alive and that his wife was alive. Since the invasion of Panama in 1989 and the ousting of Manuel Noriega, the U.S. had not intervened in any Latin American country. However, for the past few months, tensions between the two countries had been continuously escalating. Recently, the U.S. launched attacks targeting Venezuelan ships in the sea. Their oil tankers were confiscated. Trump accused Venezuela of being involved in drug trafficking and claimed that illegal immigrants were entering the U.S. from that country. Following this, Trump granted the CIA enhanced powers and independence for strict actions. There were also warnings from him about carrying out ground operations in Venezuela. Then, on Saturday morning, the capital of Venezuela, Caracas, was shaken by multiple explosions. 7 successive explosions occurred. It was reported that rockets were fired from fighter jets. Swarms of fighter jets were seen circling in the sky. The fighter jets also circled the military base in Venezuela. And just a few hours later, it was reported that Maduro had been captured. For the past few days, Trump had continuously issuing warnings. He claimed that Maduro was the leader of a drug cartel. His days were numbered. Maduro, however, had been denying the allegations from the very beginning. He claimed that the U.S. was making false accusations. In reality, the U.S. was eyeing Venezuela's oil reserves and vast mineral resources. He believed that Trump could not maneuver while he remained in power. Thus, Trump seemed intent on ousting him by any means necessary.